to show you some of the tools that we have available so that while you're doing your storyboarding, you could kind of possibly work them in. So all of these tools we have are available to you for checkout. So including my crane, if someone really wants to deal with the hassle of coming and picking up the crane, we can send that home with you, and I'll kind of give a demonstration of that today. But let's start talking about some of our tools we have for camera movements. And then once again, next week, we'll get to the why we move a camera. So first up is a slider. So this is a simple device that literally just moves the camera from one on a track. So it's got two rails, and then you can just kind of move the camera back and forth and slide it. And it's really useful for just kind of bringing attention to your viewers. So camera should go on first. If I want to just like slide my camera over, I could use this to bring attention to something I want them to look at. So it's kind of a simple slide. So they're smooth. These things work good. Like you could use these on rough surfaces or smooth surfaces. It doesn't really matter. You just need someone kind of a level surface. You could also mount this to a tripod. Oops, I'm showing you this. You can also mount this to a tripod. There's a tripod block right here. So kind of a useful tool in that regard. So this is a slider. I have three of these. I have the two small short ones. They're not very long. Those will work with an iPhone or, a smartphone. It will also work with a digital SLR or other things like that. On that same idea, we have what's called a skate dolly. And you can see it's literally basically looks like a skate. And you could mount a regular camera on this or your iPhone. So you need a smooth surface for this one. And once again, it's just a good way to keep your camera moving. So in that David and the Francher video, right? They were talking about him like passing the camera through the chair opening. That's kind of a signature move of his that he's done in a lot of his movies, including like, has anyone seen Panic Room? Jodie Foster. It's a really good thriller. It's about a rich family that moves into a house with a panic room, and then they happen to have a house robbery going on while they get locked in the panic room. And it's a really good drama. So Panic Room, Jodie, and is anyone any Jodie Foster fans in here? Jodie Foster is amazing, like one of the best actresses in my opinion. She did Contact. She's had a couple really controversial roles, but yeah, she's amazing. She's Silence. Has anyone seen Silence of the Lambs? Silence of the Lambs. Jodie Foster is the lead actor in Silence of the Lambs, so she's really good. So this would be a skate dolly, and once again, the whole idea with this one is just moving your camera smoothly across something, and you generally use this to kind of bring your viewers' eyes to something. We have a glide cam, and it is not balanced right now, so you have to balance these. But glide cams are kind of cool for moving cameras, and this one should not be leaning like this. It should be still. But the idea with the glide cam is it keeps your camera smooth as you're moving. These are great for like walking through crowds, moving down a sidewalk, so you can kind of keep these things balanced. But the idea is it keeps them kind of smooth. If they're set up right, like as you go back and forth, they shouldn't lean. Say like this one's leaning, it's just not balanced perfectly. So you have to slide these, like there's different things you can adjust here to like balance the camera perfectly. And when you have them set up right, you should be able to move it. I think this one might not be balanced because I have the SD cards out of it. So like just the weight of SD cards will change the balance of these things. So they're kind of cool. So these are glide cams. These are available. I generally send them out with the video camera. So you would get a Canon Vixia with this one. All right. So if anyone needs something like this, we could definitely set that up for you. And then moving on to camera number 3. Let me turn on first. Camera number 3 is set up on a crane. Now, this is a pretty heavy-duty unit. This would be something that I really wouldn't want to use unless I have help and some friends. It is a weighted arm with the camera out on the end of it. And we could use this for moving cameras up and down. So thanks, Mrs. Doan, for a loan of our subject. Right now, it's on autofocus. We'd usually not want to have autofocus on this because you guys notice how it like starts out of focus. There's nothing for the camera to grab onto until I get it up here, and then it'll kind of zips in. You generally want to have your focus set already. But once again, these are great ways to move a camera. So we could bring the camera all the way up. So, and then drop it down to all of a sudden bring into light this scary skeleton. Kind of a cool tool. This thing's heavy. You're going to notice on here that there is a series of weights at the end. Can you guys kind of see the weights here? So this has got 15 pounds on it. And it's really not enough. So if I let go, the camera would fall to the floor. You generally want these set up so that they're balanced. I could change the balance point on it by moving the camera back. So if I just slide the camera back a couple inches, we might be able to get this thing balanced. So I'm not going to do that now. But yeah, generally you want these things balanced. But it is literally just an arm and with the camera out on it. The weights, anyone from physics know what these weights are called when we have the weights back here on the opposite side of the camera? Max.
Is it a counterweight?
It's a counterweight, right? So you don't have to have equal amount of weight if you have this thing balanced right. If the camera's 20 pounds, depending on like the fulcrum, how much leverage we have, you can get away with less weight, but you generally want to like balance these things up so that the camera would stop and not like, but like this one right here, I could push it up and down with just one finger pretty easily. It needs a little lubricant so it doesn't squeak like that. But still, once again, a pretty useful tool for that. And then we also have our gimbals, which I kind of demoed to you guys last class. So I have about 5 or 6 of these. So if you guys need these for class, did I show you guys this last week or last class? All right. So these things are really cool too. They work great with smartphones. You don't really need much to do with them. But these things are really great for moving shots if you have to like, oh, turn it on anyway. So when they snap on, no matter what I do, it kind of stabilizes the camera so we can get some really nice, smooth shots with them. So these are available as well. Okay. Any questions on this? Once again, these are just the tools. So I want you thinking about these. So like, if you're thinking like using one of these tools, we would want to put that into our storyboard. And you guys remember like when we talked about videos earlier, how you could use the arrows in the corners to denote that I'm going to move in and get closer to the subject, or I'm going to move out. We could have arrows going out. We could also kind of denote movement in my storyboard to kind of remind us. And then maybe write a little note in there, crane shot or gimbal. So once again, this is a gimbal. I just kind of wanted to introduce those to you. All right, I'm going to end my YouTube live stream. And then prove that. So any questions on that? Anybody thinking they want to check out equipment? Okay, so we have some good stuff. I don't want the equipment to overwhelm you on this. This is still more about the storytelling, but also how do you get steady video footage with iPhone? All right, there's definitely some tools. Next week, we're going to watch a video on how to stabilize your camera for no money. So like, can you use string and tape to stabilize your camera? Yes. Can you use selfie sticks as good ways to like smooth out your camera phones? Yes. So there's a lot of ways you could definitely do it. So, and once again, I have a lot of these tools here that you guys could check out. It'll be first come, first serve. There's a link on your project guidelines for a checkout form. And I also need to get a parent permission slip from you as well before you can check out. All right.